Good morning, guys. This is Jorge with Greystone Investment Group, and next to me we have
Nadia Daggett.
also with Greystone Investment Group. Today we have an awesome topic. With Nadia and I, we're going to discuss a little bit what a corporate rental is. I'm just going to ask her a couple of questions. Hopefully, you guys can learn more about this new concept of renting properties to corporations for employees, corporations that have employees that are moving in the area temporarily for whatever reason or the other. So we're going to be talking about that, the opportunities, how you can increase your cash flow 3 times more than what it is right now. And we'll start with Nadia, so she can start telling us. So Nadia, how long you been doing this?
Well, I've been working with corporate rentals for about 10 years. I've owned my own, so I was able to work in that field and kind of learn how the corporate rentals work. So it's been a very long time.
So corporate rental, what is that?
Okay, so corporate rental, a lot of you, if you have investment properties, they're usually long-term and they're just going and paying monthly rent. With the corporate rentals, it's more that you're working with the corporation and you're setting it up fully furnished and setting up turnkey so that their employees can come in and rent the property long-term, can be a year to 2 years, and for a better return on investment than a regular long-term. And you have the security of having the corporation being there to back you up. So.
Got you. So I guess the main idea behind it is increasing the cash flow of a particular property, or I guess increasing the rent, therefore increasing the cash flow.
Yes. Yeah. So say you have a place that you're usually renting out for say $1,200 a month. If you're turning it into a corporate rental, you furnish it, you get it ready for them, and you're working with the corporations, that same property you can maximize up to $3,000 a month.
Gotcha.
Or more.
It sounds a lot like Airbnb, a little bit. Is this something similar to Airbnb?
Very similar to Airbnb. We do put it out there as Airbnb or VRBO as an option. However, most of the time we work with the corporations where it is a longer term. So you're getting a year to 2 years as a lease with the corporations, but you're still maximizing the payments, very similar to Airbnb. Maybe about 10% lower, 10 to 15% lower than an Airbnb, but you have the security of a longer lease.
Gotcha. And in this case, this is something that is done through a property management company, correct?
Yes, and not a lot of property management companies work with corporations, and that's
Really?
something that we're excited to bring with Greystone. So
why not?
It's a lot more work for the property manager.
Okay.
A long-term lease, you just have to work with maintenance and collecting the payments, but with corporations, you're working directly with the corporations, with their employees, making sure they have the facilities and everything they need to move in. So it's a little more work, but the advantages and the return on investment is extremely high. So that's why we're excited to bring that.
Gotcha. I've seen some of the projections, some of the analysis you've done for our clients, and I was blown away how much more we could increase the rents in some properties. Almost to the point that you almost want to be skeptical about it. Like, oh my God, really? I could double, triple my rents? What would you say to those people that are really skeptical about this? Is it real? Mm-hmm. How fast can they rent the property? What are the cons and pros about it? Can you tell us a little more about that?
Yeah, I'd say some cons with it is more of a risk. So you have the long-term rentals, and you know that they're going to be there. It's kind of more risk because now you have a long-term renter there that may not take care of your property. But you have the lease, and they can break the lease anytime.
But you're referring versus Airbnb because typically the usual conventional lease is a year anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So compared to like short term, you're referring to?
Yeah, compared to short term.
Okay.
So short term, you're going in Airbnb, VRBO. They could be a week, 2 weeks. But then you have the corporations where it's almost that you have even better than the long-term renters because now you have someone that's going to take care of your property. You have the corporate card, so if they break something or if they're not making the payment, you can go back to the corporation and make sure you're getting paid. And you have a higher rent. So you have your return on investment is almost threefold when you're able to do it. And you're saying for skeptics to see, is this something that works? This is something highly known out there in the corporate world. You have traveling nurses, you have a bunch of other corporations that travel all the time, and they don't want their employees to buy all the furniture, buy all the utensils, get all familiar with the area when they're only going to be here for a year or two. So the benefit, you're giving the benefit to the corporation, and you're able to reap the reward on the return on.
Because I guess the only options corporations have at the moment are hotels and stuff like that, and a lot of times it's kind of hard on the employee to live in a hotel, correct?
Absolutely. For a year without a kitchen, a lot of them, doctors, lawyers, whatever, floating through, and they have no kitchen to make their meals, anything like that. And some of them, this isn't just for single or double rooms that you get in a hotel. They want a 3-2 or a 4-2 because they're bringing their family with them for 2 years. So they're traveling with them as well. And they want to be able to enjoy the area, be able to have a kitchen and everything as well.
Seems like a win-win situation. It seems like it takes the best out of Airbnb, which is the more rent, more income, but at the same time, the best of a conventional lease, which is the year lease. You don't have to worry about constantly, finding a new tenant, correct?
Yes. Yeah, and most of the corporations that we've been working with for 10 years because they were global. So even though I was in Alaska working with these corporations, they're also here. So I'm still able to keep those corporations going. And now if we're building these properties, we can fill them and their employees have places to be. So.
Okay, so if I have a property, how do I know whether it's a good fit or not?
The best thing to do is contact us and we can go through, look at the area, find exactly where the property is, and to analyze if the property is going to be a good fit for the corporate employees, if it's too close or if it's close enough to their work, airport, things like that, and so we can evaluate it for you.
Gotcha. Now, within the Tampa Bay area, I'm not going to hold you accountable for the answer you gave me, but is there areas that you've seen better for this type of rentals than others?
Yes, so
we mentioned St. Pete as one of them, Tampa too as well.
Tampa, St. Pete, definitely St. Pete, the location. We actually have a corporation right there in St. Pete that has employees coming through, but also in Tampa, we have a corporation that's bringing in 30 to 50 employees within the next 2 to 3 years.
Oh, wow.
So Tampa, St. Pete, pretty much those are really good areas. But also when you get out of those areas, you can look further into Airbnb and VRBO to maximize even a higher return on investment, because you can go into like Port Richey where you can do short-term rentals. It's next to the beach, and a lot of people are going there for weddings or vacations. So there's different aspects, and we can kind of evaluate it for you to decide which property and how to manage it.
Okay. Typically, in average, how long would it take for corporate rentals? I would imagine that it takes a little longer than a regular type of lease.
To get a tenant in there?
To get a tenant.
Also to change it into a corporation or corporate rental. So now you want to furnish the property.
Okay.
You got to make sure that it is compliant. Okay. So there's a few steps we need to do. We need to make sure it's secure for them. We need to kind of go over things. So it usually takes about a month to make sure that everything.
You mentioned to me, if I'm not mistaken, that you also have to get a license or something.
For short-term Airbnb, VRBO, we do need
gotcha.
but not for corporate rentals.
Oh, okay.
Long-term. But we make sure that you're completely set up so that everybody's legal, everybody is making, because also some people kind of fly by night as a property owner, but with us, we make sure we're doing everything right because we're managing a lot of the properties. So
gotcha.
We'll make sure everything is square with them, and how to maximize the property in the specific area. So it could take a little longer, but to find the tenant, as long as we have the properties available, it's just communicating with the corporations and knowing when their employees are arriving to get them set up, to get the leases going. But we can have the leases signed even though their employees may be coming, a month from now.
I've seen, guys, some of the projections that we've done for properties that are cash flowing, let's say $1,000 a month, because that's the rent. And we've been able to at least project that the property is gonna rent 3 times as much, 3,000, something like that, right?
Yeah, and for
That's
an
a big
example,
difference. Mhm.
we had the property in Riverview.
The one in Riverview, okay.
The one in Riverview, it's a 4.3, set up as a corporate rental. We put it out there for 39 days. They were going to make $9,957 as a short-term rental because it's
What's that again? Almost $10,000
almost
on
$10,000.
a property that would rent otherwise for
He had it
$2,000 a
out.
month, maybe.
He had it out there for rent for $1,500 before.
$1,500.
And we had a commitment they were going to move in, but he couldn't move out quick enough because we had just got on the market.
So how would you like to turn your rental from $1,500 a month to $9,000 a month? That's what we're talking about, guys. Really, really exciting stuff that we're doing here at Greystone. Thanks to Nadia. Anything else I'm missing, Nadia? Anything that, I'm an investor, I'm interested, I'm listening to this, and I'm like, wow, I need to call you. You do the evaluation of the property. Do you help them with the process of rehabbing the property, furnishing the property? What does the landlord work ends and starts, and when do you take over?
Yeah, so if you have a portfolio and you have a bunch of investment properties, we can look through them. It'll take about a week or so. We'll find out which properties would be best for doing corporations versus VRBO and how to set it up. And then we can actually help it out because we have Greystone Development Group as well. So we can work on the rehab, we can get it all set up for you, and we can also help you furnish it. We have a few stagers that are willing to help with that as well if you're out of town or if you are however much you want to be involved in as well. But we set up the whole process. We make sure it's all the bookkeeping is up to date, all the licensing, everything's squared away. So it can take a little bit of time, but we can do most of it, or the investor can help as well.
Awesome. All right, we're gonna wrap it up. I think it's been an awesome, very informative video. Nadia, where can they contact you for additional information?
At Greystone Investment Group on our website. If you can contact me there. My email is nadia@greystonefl.com.
And we're going to leave that information on the video later for people to have it. But once again, to summarize what we talked about, Nadia talked about the opportunity of converting your regular rental to a corporate rental. At the same time, what that's going to do for you is going to increase your cash flow, double your cash flow in a minimum basis, double your cash flow, and potentially avoid from you having bad tenants, because these type of tenants typically are better, I would think.
Mm-hmm.
So
or they get in trouble by their employer.
Or they get in trouble by the employer. Oh, I love that. So you can complain to the employer. Hey, listen, you know what happened?
I've had to do that in the past.
You've had to do that in the past? Okay, so
only once.
Only once, okay. So I think this is another awesome product that we're offering our clients here at Greystone Investment Group. We're going to provide more information coming up soon. And stay tuned. This is Jorge with Greystone Investment Group, where you invest, we do the rest. Homesforincome.com. That's homes the number 4, income.com. Nadia?
Yeah, homesforincome.com.
There you go. Giving your number one more time.
813-527-1030.
Thank you, guys. See you in the next episode. Bye-bye. Okay, great. So I think we could even